Alright, welcome to the future audience. We are live, and I'm still sleepy. Yesterday was my off, and today is my off too. So I took the chance and played as much as possible. Oh, hey, I thought he'll miss it. We can do this. Alright. Let's go to Discord. Take your time. So, I've been working on this game engine for like 3 years. I have messages, but I will watch it. I will see it later. We need to get into general. I don't know, what does the streaming mode mean? I need to keep Discord somehow up to see who is in my voice channel. Let's put it in. Oh god, the screen is everywhere. Here, there's like 5 menus to check. So my friend will join in a few days. Oh, a few days. I need to wake up. In a few minutes, in a few moments. Alright. So finally YouTube is saying I'm watching myself. It count the page. In the meanwhile, let's test if the game doesn't crash at least. Because I didn't test it thoroughly yesterday. Okay, there are stuff. Yeah, I forgot to add one last thing too. Wow, this is a mess. This is a mess. Our trigger press release the joysticks. Actually this took me like 2.5. Take items, no shoot, no. So let me remind my friend, we need to do that on Discord. Later on I might do a channel for Discord, general Discord channel. Because it seems that I will keep doing that even when I make new games. When I start making one. Maybe he was on his cell phone. Don't forget to log in Discord. Yeah, one of the things that I'm quite bad at is saying things in interesting way, I fear. I'm not sure what to say. Or Dino. Except I need to fix my sleeping. Because tomorrow I need to start working again. Oh yeah, I will start working on player profile, so I can do save and loads and say so I can start work on the quests. After that, I will start on the event system, and hopefully I won't get distracted as usual, adding features right and left. Because after the effect system, actually before the effect system, I need to play with shaders. I'll try to add lights and stuff. And I never test the NPCs system. Oh my god, a lot of things need tested. But I'll try to focus on completing the systems that are not complete. So the NPC is not complete, it's just a script holder. Not much. Conversation system, profiles, picture system. And after I finish those, I need to start working on the game for real. So yeah, at least quest system, shader system, effect system, play a little bit with mini objects, scripts, because it was a placeholder when I done them like 2 years ago. Mini objects I use for visual effects, like empty bullets cases falling from weapons and particles for visual effects, stuff like that. And it should be mixed. The mini object system or the mini object cluster with visual effects. That's mean with shaders. A lot of things. I need to start making a small game. Maybe search for an artist to be my partner or use stock assets. I already found few websites for the stock assets, but it's kind of hard to find things that you can use. I mean, some of them are designed to be used with other engines, and okay, Rado's on Discord, but he didn't join the channel. Maybe he waiting to open my YouTube page first. Oh, let me give him the link. Oh, hey.
I'm trying to open the reboot.
Take your time. Been talking to myself for 10 minutes.
Okay. So you're coding right now? Or?
No, I just was checking the game doesn't crash. You don't wanna Yeah, you don't want to get crashes in your that's all right. I
Now
come again.
should be good.
Yeah. I have been inviting people on Twitter and Facebook. So maybe someone by mistake will join us, but I highly doubt it. So I believe we can start without them. So my plan is to, because we missed the last week, we will represent all the work for the last 2 weeks. So maybe I will change the name of the video later on, call it Weekly Progress Review 3 and 4. So should we start, or do you have questions, or?
No, you can start.
Alright. Hopefully it will take less than 40 minutes. I'm already sleepy, and because it was my off, it is my off actually. These 2 days, today and yesterday, are my off days. And I played a lot yesterday. I just kept sleeping and kept playing all night. So let's see. The first issue that I fixed the last 2 weeks, I noticed that objects are not solid even though I add them solid. So actually I screwed around and I only add this rock, the last one, as solid. I noticed that I screwed up the save data before the solidity were saved in a byte to represent several flags. For some reason I changed them into several booleans. I don't know why. Just that's what's happened when you work on a project more than 2 years. And it didn't save if it is solid or fire solid. So I changed all the data on the files and made it save and load, and I fixed it. So now we can add objects as solid again, and you can stand on them. So this is the first thing I solved. The second problem is the inventory, for some reason, got some problems that if you have an object in the middle, you cannot drag the one in the middle. And I fixed that. I done some stupid things. This object, for example, has if I can zoom in, I cannot zoom in, unfortunately. But it has some, actually I can show you how this object works. Actually, this is a good way to represent my system. So you can check out where the object have empty space or not. So we can edit the game file in here. I need to talk slowly. So we go to the items, and it is called gate core. And if we go to the shape, you will see where it is solid and where it's not. So there is a space in here, 3 spaces in here, 2 spaces in the middle, and you can check the item how it looks like, and you can change its position. For example, you see it's a little bit not obvious, these are empty, so we can shift the shape a little bit to the right, stuff like that. Now this is
that's kind of nice.
Yeah, I worked a lot to do that, to make this system. Why the shape is going to the left? Oh, I'm changing where I'm cutting the image from the main image. If we go to the main image, it's in the items. Actually, yeah, here. So if we go down here, it's here. So actually I cannot cut it from the left. I can later on add values to shift the image. like had a value to shift the image by X and by Y. So anyhow, so there is three spaces here and three spaces here. So if I go to the game, you can put it here and the weapon here because there are spaces. So this is actually, I'm glad I'm doing the weekly progress thing. I can show off some of the features that I made in these 3 years. Yeah, only 2 months.
Can you try to move the gun a bit to the left? I'm curious if it's not overlaying or something.
Like this?
Wait, the stream is a bit delayed.
Oh, it will cancel because you cannot put it. Oh, you mean like this?
Sorry, to the right. I meant to say to the right. Just not completely. Okay, it's good. No, I thought maybe if you have two squares and one square, two squares free and one not free, it's not overlay.
Yeah, because
no, it's okay. It's okay.
Because the video is delayed by like 5 seconds or something. Yeah, I cannot tell. I need to stop like for 10 seconds. That's alright. Yeah. There is a code in the back. We can go on. This is a weekly progress review, so we can do whatever we want. We can go to the bag class. It's in the bag. No, it's in the items here, in the items folder. There are several functions to move the items, and it check the position and check if it is free, check if the slot is free, and if it fit, it move the item. This code, it was a pain to my butt for a while. Oh, object solidity save was faulty. I already talked about that. For some reason the objects doesn't save the data if it is solid. Solid means that the character it's physical. The character cannot cross it. The character can stand on them. In the map simulator, objects by default get the object default faction. Oh, great. How to describe that in words? Let's go here. In the game engine, I have blueprints for everything. So when I have a blueprint for the rock in here, this is the blueprint. This is called the default script. Actually, I have two types of scripts. This is a real script using parser, and this is a new system using actions. And this one is easier to code, and I neglected this one because my parser system is pain in the butt to add the semantics for the parsing, and this is the system. It's consisting of the string separators, the words themselves and the semantics, and the expression.
It's a very big delay between what you're saying and what you're showing.
Even in YouTube? Oh yeah, because you're listening to me through Discord. I believe Discord is faster. So yeah, hopefully what I'm saying is a little bit clear. That's why I'm trying to talk as slow as possible.
I think we should do this next time on Skype and put the plugin to stream directly the screen to me and in the same time to make the stream to YouTube.
It's a good idea if we were doing that in 2000. Do you remember the Skype is so freaking annoying to use? It's always laggy, the voice is screwed up. It seems
I didn't use it for a long time.
Yeah, it seems you forgot the pain. You forgot the horror of Skype. It's not good anymore. Skype is screwed up. So actually this is a real script. This is a huge, complicated, pain in the butt parser. I made it in 2010. Actually, this is the third version. The first one I made it in 2005 in Visual Basic 6. So it's my old me. I wasn't that experienced. It's still good, but it have some stuff. Like I need to remove the words and order them manually every time. If I do that automatically, it will be really easy to make new parser to them. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying now. Parser, interpreter.
Some of them.
But you are a back-end programmer. You should have heard about these terms before. So yeah, this is one of my biggest achievement actually, and I don't use it. That's why, but I might return and use it because it's really, really powerful. This will let the DMs and players with authority change stuff on the fly in a real time. That's why I don't want to delete it. So this is this script, and this one the new one. The new one is not real time. It's not real. It's not a real script. It's a pre-calculated, compiled script. So what I was saying, everything you make have blueprints, and it have default values. Like if you want to make an enemy in here, beholder, he's in default in the demon faction. He's a demon. He's not a soldier, he's not civilian, he's a demon. When you have all the data in the blueprints and open a map, everything have an object and a blueprint. Here, when I add the demons or beholder, for example, you will see by default he shows us the default value, which is a demon. If I select walker, he will select the default values again. Same with the tags and everything, it shows the default thing. So actually these are two separate classes. So if we go here and we go to the animation particle, you will see weapons. This is the blueprint, and this is the object class. You have creature class, which is the blueprint, and this is the object class. The classes or the blueprints save all the complex and redundant and data that the object doesn't have to remember. For example, how the animation work, or what kind of equipment slots does it support. With that, you can add a lot of objects without have redundant data in the system. So I had a problem that objects, whenever you add them, you cannot change the faction. It's always the default object faction. And it took me some time to fix it actually. And do I need to describe that? Nah. Yeah, let's describe that. This is another feature in the game, the faction system. Before that, do you have any questions?
No, not really.
Okay, that's a good and a bad sign at the same time. In the game, we have something called faction system. Have you played RTS before? Real-time strategy.
No, I don't think so.
Like Command and Conquer, Warcraft, Starcraft, Age of
Yeah, I played StarCraft. Yeah.
You play Starcraft?
Yes.
Okay, Age of Empire. There's a lot of games. They were famous in the early 90s. They are quite dead actually for a long time, since like 2005 or something.
Yeah, I was in high school when I played it.
Yeah. In RTS, it's the easiest way to describe what a faction is. when you have allies, like you're playing with a team, StarCraft, like with a Terran, with the humans, and the other with the Zerg, but you are both in.
Alliances.
Yeah, alliances. So you can make a team, and this is what the system is actually. In RTS, this will be a little bit more dynamic because you can change the team, but it can be used in other ways. It can be used for like this one in the platform. As a soldier, you are by default an enemy to demons, so the AI will target you as an enemy. And the thing with an underline means it will get damaged by your bullets. So civilians are not your enemies, yeah, but they you can kill them, you can damage them. Demons will get damaged by you, and they are your enemies. So civilians can damage no one, and they are enemies of the demons, and the demons can damage both and consider themselves enemy to everyone. So this is a faction system. If I want a friendly fire, I can make soldiers can damage soldiers. Like this. So now this, if I save, I can damage even myself, unfortunately, because I didn't make a filter for that. I didn't say, hey, you cannot damage yourself. Oh, my old artist has answered me on the Facebook. Let me invite him. Give me a second, Rado.
Okay.
I am actually making a progress review for my work. Do you wanna join? It has been a while. He didn't answer me. I might let him draw. I might let him draw for me for the first game I make on the engine. I'm trying to start working on the first game really fast. I mean, I don't want to stay working on the game engine forever. I want to start working on a real thing. Even if it is a small game, like one turret and enemies flies and you need to hit them or something silly.
I think it was a better idea to do something to have a small income on play, small income, and after that work more on the game engine, because the game engine it will take more time than you thought, and you already see that.
Try to talk slowly because sometimes I cannot hear you clearly, unfortunately.
I was saying it was a better idea to start working on a small game right now, because you need some income from some. You need some source of income. So and the game engine it will take a while to be finished.
Yeah, I know. But sometimes, I'm debating myself for a long time. Sometimes I tell myself, hey, you are working on a game engine, just finish the main things at least. I mean, focus on one thing at a time. Just got up. I do not check my Facebook page often. If you wanna see my last work, you can join us in here. I am with a friend of mine. So yeah, should we continue?
Yeah, you can continue. Yeah.
So yeah, the faction system is actually taking pointers from all the objects and things that can get damaged and creatures, in the map and put them aside. So let's show you the code in here. So if we go to the map folder, oh man, I didn't play with the music a lot. I need to work on that too.
You posted the stream at some point? You posted the stream at some point? Because I was looking at the same screen and I was wondering why it's not changing anything.
No, I didn't. Did OBS is alive and my channel is alive.
It's working now. But
you know the delay. The delay sometimes goes up to 1 minute.
Okay.
So here in the map, you see that everything is saved in here as a real object. But when they are added or enter the map, I save a pointer of them, like the creatures, the objects. Actually, these are the only things that can get damaged for now. And I save them in here, based on their faction. So all the objects of faction soldiers will go to the list in here. So whenever I detect the fire hit something, it check only this list. It's much faster like this than checking everything in the map, then make a condition, hey, can I hit you or not? And then make a condition, hey, do you get damage or not? So this is like a filter for which object should I check. And I have the other one with the fire. So only the demons' fires damage the soldiers and civilian. So these things make things much faster for bullets detection. So this is an old system, but the objects, when it's added to the map, it doesn't care about the data of the object itself. It was taking the data of the class and say, oh, this is like this. I was like, dude, why do you behave like that? So we fixed that too. Man, that will take more than an hour if we move this slow. One of the things that I fixed is when I drag objects on the in the inventory, any inventory. Let's go to the inventory, and I drop it. For some reason, it calculates the drag distance where I'm dragging to the respective of the inventory. So it missed the distance between here and here and here and here. And actually it was a pain in the butt. I changed a lot of code to fix this issue. It was like off by a little bit because if you notice, if I drag the item from the corner like this, up left, it will keep dragged from that position. Actually, this is another value in the calculation, and it was a big misstep because when you have more than one inventory, the calculation can go a little bit wired. Oh, okay, let me. Ah, hello. We have a problem when I. Oh, now I understand. When the shrink, I tried to make the page bigger, and because it's not in the profile, it crashed. I know the issue. I need to fix it later. Congratulations. Okay, so let's open this.
On the list, not forget about it.
Yeah, no worries. This is the last thing I fixed, so I cannot forget about it. All right. Let's go to the next point because. So when I dropped the items, they were not calculated correctly, and actually it was really annoying. Made items be moved from one bag to another. Yeah, I worked on this, so you can actually, do you see the rocks on the background? These three?
Yeah, of course. Of course. I didn't know that you want confirmation because of the delay. So.
Yeah, that's why I waited a little bit in silence, like if someone died or something. Actually, I should throw treasure box, but because I was too lazy, I just made them into rocks. I gave these rocks bags, and you can open them if you click E. And each one of them have a different size. So actually, this is the bag of the rock itself, and I can open others. So each one of them have a different size. And I worked on a way to make the system, the back system itself, this grid to be one class. So if we go to the code, oh man, I need to sub the code to see it. You can trust me on that. There is a class for that. So I made a code to check if I drag an item and if I dropped it on the same bag, it do some calculation. If I drop it on a different bag, it do a different calculation and move the item from here to here. So this took me more than 4 hours, around 4 hours, because there was a lot of issues actually. You cannot imagine the first time it worked. Actually, I registered, I made a video while I was working on that. On YouTube, it's there. It just, God. Let the menu register the clicks and drags. Yeah, oh yeah, before I have a priority system, priority for the GUI. So if I click on this GUI, it will get in front of the screen. If I click on this one will get on the top of the screen. So let's pause for the delay.
I saw it, okay.
So before, if you want to drag an item, you need to click on it to get the priority, then drag it. But now I fixed it. You don't need to do that. So you immediately can drag it without having the priority. Before, you need to click like 3 times just to make moving the items works. It was not smooth, it was annoying, and I know players, not that much, not that much, but I know they get annoyed by the smallest thing ever. So we fixed that.
By we, you mean you.
Don't you deal with users? I mean, I'm sure you deal with them more than me, actually.
I really don't stream on YouTube.
So he asked me if I record my stream. Yes. One of the issues I have, and that's actually almost, I believe, yeah, this is the issue that made me quit the code for that day and the day after. If I go to my schedule, let me go for a second. It's kind of funny. I want to show you how annoying sometimes these things. Where's the deadline? Drawing deadlines. Going to this week. So it was this day. It was on 21 March. I quit the work on this hour, and I quit the work the day after because of this issue alone. So whenever I drag an item or object or anything, the code will keep checking if I'm dragging or not. And this caused me a lot of pain. It just, Because when I tried to fix it, I broke other code, and when I tried to return back, I broke other codes that I was like, okay, screw it. Next time I will program. So what's the issue? If you drag the item and you move the mouse to place where it can be dragged, it will trigger the drag for that item. For example, you can drag the menus from the top right, from this corner. So if I drag the item and past that area, it will start dragging the menu with the item. And oh boy, I was screaming at the screen, please stop, don't do that. But nope, it didn't listen. So, this problem...
I think you have to add a function when you select my cat until you release it to cancel all the other events.
It's,
just that event.
It's a little bit easier to say, my friend. It's all low-level code. The GUI is not...
I don't know, in web programming it's easier.
The only thing I know if the mouse is pressing now or not. It's very low level in the mono game. I don't even know if the mouse was pressed or not. I need to save that in a variable in a flag and make checks.
Yeah, I understand.
And the last thing I done, which I'm not so proud of, is when I drag and drop a window outside of the game window, it will cancel the drop and return where it's at. I'm not super happy with this. I wish if I made it like stay at the edge of the window, but I tried to do the calculation and I was like, oh, you know what? Let's leave it like this for now. Maybe later if I want to fix it, I will fix it, but...
Actually, you should delete that thing with dragging outside the window, because you know why? Sometimes players don't want to shut down the inventory, just drag it a bit outside to work on something else, and after drag it back, to not close it and reopen it.
I know, but for some stupid reason, the code, when I try to drop it halfway of the window, the GUI go outside the window. It tracks in the negative way, and instead of going to the right, it go to the left. And I tried to fix it, but with all the numbers and calculation, it was pain in the butt. And I was like, do you know what? If they use to drop the window a little bit outside, just cancel the drop, return it where it is. I'm not proud of that. I tried to make it if the...
Can you do something else instead of cancel it and bring it back? Just to stick it to the position 0.
I tried to do that. I tried to do that for an hour, if not more. And the calculation is always off. And I don't know why. It just always... and instead of drag it to the right, it drag it negatively to the left or something. So it always drop it in the wrong position, sometimes in half of the screen, sometimes out of the screen. I was like, dude, it shouldn't be that difficult, but nope, it is that difficult. Because do you see this GUI, for example? The one I'm dragging?
Oh, it just started to drag, yeah?
This one actually is 4 components, not only one.
Wait a second, I'll stop the stream and start it, maybe it will synchronize that.
It started where?
Yeah, you can do it now, because I had a bit of delay.
Oh, do you want me to refresh the live stream?
No, it's good. We can explain now about the dragging window.
Yeah, I was saying that actually this is not one component. This is 4 different components. And all of them have the same group number. And I have a function, when I change one menu of the group number, it changes the position for all of them. And I try to make the actually no, sorry, 5 of them. This is 5 objects, not only one. The first one is invisible, called a control unit. And I tried to make the calculation based on the control unit. And maybe that's my mistake. Oh well. I should make the calculation based on the frame itself. Yeah, I wish if I can show you in details how my GUI system works, but that will take a few days. I have few videos for me working on it. And this is the wrong class, the wrong project, silly me. So this is the folder for my menu components. And it have like 1 billion interface. Oh, this one just a tag. Oh, I can be dragged. Nothing else, just a tag. It's kind of funny to see files taking a place in your folder and have nothing in it. So yeah, later on I will try to fix that in a better way. I just don't want the window to get outside of the game. And you cannot close it, cannot drag it, cannot do anything. So that was the week before. Not the last week, the week before it. Any general questions?
No.
So, okay, finally, I finished this crap. It was bothering me the whole week, actually. Like, I need to make a progress review for the last week. And now I can
Sorry
say...
for if I had some work to do. So.
That's alright, that's alright. I was thinking to make it without you, but I feared if I start doing that, we will never keep up doing it over and over. So I was like, no, we must do it together. We started together, we ended together. So,
You can do if I cannot sometime. You can do it and I'll watch the stream after that. I know it won't be the same.
It will be a mistake because you'll say you'll watch it, but you'll never watch it. Then we will never do it. Then
It cut it off. I didn't pursue.
So yeah, I don't want to start missing it out.
I'll try. I'll try to do my best.
Well, thank you. Actually, I really appreciate it. I feel my work mean a little bit more than what it used to be.
It means you just have to think of that. I know it's hard that people don't watch the stream. They don't. I know. Think that they don't care, but actually people want to see the finished product. And after that, when you have a web page or something like that, if they are interested in something, they will check on your web page, and that's all.
Yeah, I need to update the web page and say what I'm doing recently. Like I'm doing this and this and that. Keeping up a blog is a pain in the butt. I try to blog every week and I have like 11 blogs. Even I can't read them. They are just too dry.
You should, instead of making no, because text is good for SEO. Yeah, nothing. Doesn't matter. I think it's better and I'll say it when I have better solution and explanation.
Yeah, but they take efforts. They take time.
So, last week.
Okay, last week, let's start. So the first thing I start working on was whenever the player open an object inventory, like this one, and then move away horizontally, it closed. So that's what I did. So I don't close it manually, I just move away a little bit and it doesn't close because I'm still in a safe distance, so I can move items between them.
Nice. That's very cool thing. Very important.
But when I move away, it closed. So I cannot just open a treasure box in the first map and go to the last map and then start taking items and trade and do stupid things. Which actually, if I remove the code, that's what will happen. But yeah, I shouldn't close the game, but oh well. Oh yeah, the bags data, the class doesn't have the name of the map, and that's embarrassing because when I was making the bag system and the items and the weapons and I made them all close together. And let's go to the page. Yeah, I shouldn't close both classes, the map simulator. So let's open the game file, which have the data of all the game, and go to the items. So actually, weapons and objects and bags can be items. What does that mean? Items can be placed on the map and can be used, and when they are used, they trigger the script for the usage. So when I made this system, I wasn't 100% sure how I'm going to connect all the wires. So some data were missing from here and there, and actually I fixed a lot of them 3 weeks ago, but some of them are left. So the back class itself, when I place them on the map, they don't know which map they exist. And at first I thought this is logical, I mean, why do they care? But later on, when I start moving items from one bag to another, I needed to know which map the bags are. So I fixed that, and I fixed the files manually, and that took me around 2 hours. Then I add a script to the campaign, and actually this is a this work I stopped it 2 weeks ago, and I just continue it. I didn't know how to say continuation for some reason. So when the campaign starts, it actually will automatically created 16 mid bags and put it in a bag. Actually, the mid bags should be free on the stack, but I don't have any ways for now. I didn't add a way to show how many stacks and the name of the items. I'll then make a small window for that. So I made a script. When the campaign starts, you can add items, and actually we can go and take a look on it. So we load any map and we go to the script. We go to the campaign, select the campaign, and this is the script. So if we get the script in here, first of all, it load all the maps in group 1. That's been the first and the second map, and make them active. Then it plays the character. If you go and watch the map, actually, the character is not there because it's a unique character. A unique character is not an object in the map. It's a unique. It's live independently on the system. So it can move from one campaign to another. It can move between maps easily. It's live outside the map class. So it's called unique character. And these are useful for the player's creatures. So you can save them in a profile and move them from one campaign to another, as I said. So it plays the unique character, which the setting is in here. We can see his scripts and everything. And blah 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 blah, to give it the first controller, activate. Then here it add to items to the creature bag, who's in the first map, because we already added him to the first map, called W1. We add mid bags as items with the name mid bag. Oh, I gave him only 3, not 16. So, and I said put the script of the default script for the mid back. So actually I can give them a special script as well. So I was working on this system and it works. Actually, if Walker is damaged, let's do that. When Walker is damaged, we can use the mid back, but hopefully, oh, I clicked something that's not registered in the profile for the keys, so it crashed. That's why you cannot. Oh my god, I need to fix that. Yeah, definitely. You see, I have some keys that's not in the profile, not programmed there, like making the screen bigger and stuff. Where is it? Here. Like changing the controller, whose control, create fire, zoom in, zoom out, change the screen resolution. All of this, now it crashed because...
Can you add a condition? In the list just
did you say that I should add them to the list?
no to add to the list if it's not in the list, because I see here you have a string right here. If escape pressed and you define the key, can you put a condition with case? For example, if escape pressed and after that to check and stop, because you make the check every time.
I will fix it. No worry. You will see why I have the problem. It's in here. We will talk about this problem later on when we reached it.
Because I don't know if you can do that, but in this language, but I can use, for example, not in other languages, if key pressed, and after that I check for the keys pressed. Case A, case B, case C. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there's no problem, but I made some major changes. That's why it crashes, and I'll show you later on. No worries. You will see why it crashed like this. So should we continue?
Yeah, you can continue.
So I made a tag to add items, and I need to add a tag to add item to the map. Actually, this script can be used anywhere. Like if the quest end, it give a player an item. The same script exactly. It just depends on where it exists in the code. Okay, and I made the bags openable. Oh yeah, let me show you this. This is a little bit funny actually. So I add different bags in here. And when I double click on them, they open. So one of the problems I have is the GUIs are saved in the priority list. All the GUI systems. And I never thought I will need to delete them. Because I was like, if I make a HUD, if I make a menu for the HP or menu for items or the main menu, why do I need to delete them? I don't need to delete them. But unfortunately, when I add a way to open more than one bag, that's mean you create new bags. When you sell them, well, they get deleted. So actually I played around the system and made a way to add and delete new GUIs. Actually I have a video for that, and made an algorithm and everything. And then I made the items move from one to another. And actually, it was a little bit pain in the butt because the bag didn't have a name. There were several issues. You can watch the video for them. I believe it's the prototype 27 or 28. I believe it was 27. Episode 27. So I made this, and not only that, I didn't add a filter to which item does it accept. Do you know what does that mean?
Not really.
The bag doesn't check the item, what item I'm adding to it. That's mean I can place bags inside bags.
I was thinking to ask you about it.
Yeah, and if you close it, you lose all the item inside it because you cannot open it again. So now I lost all the bags.
But you still have the bags open.
Now I lost them for real. Now I lost them for real.
Yeah, you should do that. To not allow put back in a bag. To limit the items you can put in a bag, for example.
Yeah, but I considered it not important now. I'm trying to finish the main systems. And I made the bag openable, and that's enough for me. Later on, I will add a filter setting, so you can add anything, the item by name, the item by type. But for now, I'm happy with this progress. Another thing is, actually the system is designed as similar to, what do you call it, Resident Evil 1 and 2, where the item you're holding is not a placeholder for weapons. So when you hold an item, doesn't mean it will take a slot, the weapon where it is. It will still be in the bag. So actually, when you hold an item, it doesn't get removed from the bag. Your hand is not a place where you can put the weapon and you empty the inventory by that way. In ARPGs, the system exists like that. You can put like a large weapon in your hand and it gets removed from the inventory, but not in here. So if I shoot, I'm using the weapon from the bag actually, even though it's in the hand. Before, if you remove the weapon from the inventory, the weapon is still in the hand. So if I put the weapon in the bag, he's still shooting from the weapon in the bag, and that's illogical. So I made the way when you move a weapon and you're holding it, it gets removed from the hand. And this actually took me some time to work because bags doesn't get informed if you removed an item from them. They only get informed if you add item to them. So it took me some time to add an event and check all the errors. So if I'm
why do you keep your weapon in your inventory and not your hand?
Because when we tried to design Walker, this game called, we don't have a name for the game, but the character called Walker, we tried to make the inventory system as part of the balance. So if you have a bazooka that's really large and the ammo is large, and you can have little weapons that not that large, you need to play with the inventory. You cannot hold too much weapons, and it's part of the balance. So you can program the game to make the hand slot take the item or not. In the code, in this one, it doesn't have one. It's all...
Wait, logically thinking, if you have a bazooka, you won't keep it in your backpack and you'll take it out when you need it. You'll keep it on your...
Yeah, I know, but the hand doesn't remove the item from the bag. You cannot just manipulate the inventory within that way. That's the whole point. If you played Resident Evil, the earliest versions, it's like this. I don't know about Resident Evil 3 and 4 and 5. I don't know about them. I only played 2.
I don't know either. But maybe you can do another thing.
As I said, I can change the system and make it similar to Diablo. If I drag the weapon here, it will remove from the inventory and stay here. But I didn't.
Another thing you can do is to put different slots for weapons and to change between them. And if they want to change in the inventory, they have to do it manually. You have already slots there.
Yeah, I can change between them. And I have 2 weapons functional so far. One of them is precise, one of them is not. So if I move the weapon, the inventory from here, it will remove all of them. So, any more questions? It seems you didn't like the thing.
No, for me it's a bit strange having it in the inventory and in the meantime you have it in your hand, and every time you need weapon you just take it out of your inventory.
You can have, actually I was discussing this with my brother 2 days ago, not Ice Lord, another one, who helped me to make this game ideas. We have actually a lot of documentation for this game, the story and everything. And we were discussing that, and I was telling him, actually it is hard to open the inventory and program the joystick to move the items. And he says that's actually fine, because you already have 3 shortcuts for the weapons. If you're in an intense battle, you shouldn't be changing these weapons easily with the inventory. You should first get to the safe place, then play with the inventory, removing weapons and move them and stuff. We are trying to make the inventory part of the balance of the game. That's why I took this decision that the hands doesn't take the weapon as a slot. It doesn't remove it. It must be in the inventory to use it. Of course, the bag will be much smaller when we make the game. I made it really large to test the movability and stuff. Or maybe it is this big, but the weapons take like 20.
You can come with something new. For example, where you have the weapon slots, you can put as many weapons as you want. As fast slots, you use the screw switch between them, and or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 anyway, and you limit them by weight. For example, if he has a small handgun, he can have 9 of them. If he has a bazooka, Kalashnikov, and a handgun, he's limited. He cannot have so many, based on size or weight. How do you want? Something new is different.
Actually, I already have weight limit in here.
I was talking about the item that you switch between, and not to keep them in your inventory.
Actually, bags can be shapeless too. I didn't play with that system, but bags in like Final Fantasy JRPG games, they don't have slots like action RPG games. They have a list. Actually, the bags can be listed. The system is there, the code is there, but I didn't play with them much. I believe.
I'm not sure that you understood what I meant. I was thinking about hand skipped, or the weapons skipped in your hand, and fast access to them. If you have a weapon for fast access, logically you don't keep it in a bag in your inventory. So I was thinking you can add a new inventory like for your hand, and depending on how big is your weapon, you can have more or less weapon.
Yeah, I can do that. I told you this is a game engine, and it's
Yeah.
open. Actually, it's I can do that.
It's
Uh,
something new. You don't have that. For example, in most of the game, you have a limit of weapons you can switch between, like I don't know, 5 to 9. But here you will have based on how big is your weapon, 1 to 9 example. Yeah. So
that will be a great idea design if you have classes to choose. Like this guy can hold 7x7 weapons. This guy cannot hold weapons that too small. This guy cannot hold big weapons. Yeah, depends on the
yeah,
size
but
and the type and the weight. Yeah, yeah.
on the other side, you have another advantage. For example, you have mm, you found like 7 handguns, and you don't want to reload every time you are out of ammo. You just put your 7 handguns in your hand, and you just switch between them when you are out of ammo to not reload. For example, it's faster, in my opinion. So it's going a bit more close to real life thing. But if you
Yeah,
have
yeah.
7 Kalashnikov, you cannot have all the 7 Kalashnikov out. So you are just 3 of them. For example, depending on the size of the weapon, you can limit that. So it's simple. You put fast weapons. You have like uh, 20 kilos, for example. And the handgun has 2 kilos, so you can add 10 handguns. But Kalashnikov have like 7 kilos, so you can add almost 3 of them. So stuff like that, limited by weight. You understood what I mean?
Yeah, and we can add delay to switching weapons, adding delay to firing between
Yes,
weapons.
you can do that.
I can
I think
the
it's
engine can do that. Every game can have its own configuration. I'm working on this engine to make this is possible actually. So it's not a
yeah.
problem. It's not a game engine problem. It's just a code. I designed it to do that, and it's doing that. Actually, me and my brother Hussein discussed the weapons a lot. He wanted inventory to be part of the balance, but he doesn't want ammo. I was like, why? And we were discussing this a lot. He doesn't want to delay between shoots for heavy weapons. Like, why, dude? Why? He says he doesn't want to kill the experience of slowing down the character between moving if he's shooting heavy weapons, and he doesn't want ammo because he doesn't want the player get worried about the ammo in an action game. I was like, then how can you balance it like that? A very expensive weapon is the same as a very weak weapon. So we were going back and forth. Then we decided like, if we have a very special weapons like BFG or very powerful bazooka, then it has special ammo for them. But the rest of the weapons doesn't have ammo. And that's why I made the weapon always take a place in the inventory, even if you're holding it.
Yeah, I don't agree with the weapon with no ammo either.
I know, but he is the expert in video games, and actually the main character he's the one who created it, and I tried to cooperate with him to make the game. So I'm trying to make the most of the game design on him rather than on me, and test my coding expertise and do whatever he says, not whatever I say, because usually coding whatever you think and say is much easier than taking other people ideas and create them. So should we continue?
Yeah.
So we talked about de-equip the weapon if you're holding it and remove it from the inventory. And we made actually the bags. If you open a bag, put another bag. If you played Ultima Online and open this bag, you can open the bag inside a bag. Before it didn't want to open. I was
You should
test.
try to avoid that. bag in a bag in a bag. It's not.
I can make bigger bags, can hold smaller bags. Like if you have chests, portable chests, you can make smaller bags get in them, like Minecraft. Some of the bag system cannot hold their own type, but they can hold smaller types.
Yeah, yeah, but Minecraft it's about mods, but thinking that if you put a small bag in a bigger bag, it's the same size, so you just shouldn't allow to put a 10 by 10 in a 4 by 4 bag.
I
It's
know,
not.
and actually I can put bag A in bag B, and put bag B in bag A, and close both of them. So yeah, it is possible, but as I said, I didn't work on the filter system yet because I kinda don't care about it for now. I'm trying to do bigger things. It should.
Nothing, go on.
Okay, the last thing we will talk about and why the system crashes now is chain of command. I don't know if you know this concept or not. Whenever I control something in the game, it uses the controller system. The controller system represents the player who's playing, either online or offline. Offline only for now, of course. So if you have 4 players playing in the same game that controlling different units, they should be 4 controllers in the game. The problem in my game engine, the controller can control only one thing at a time and send a request to it. That's mean if I have the inventory on, I can either control the inventory or the player. I cannot control both. So I spent like 3 days trying to make chain of command. That's mean if I'm playing with the inventory and I press the key that doesn't belong to inventory, it checks the rest of the things that the controller can control. So for example, now the inventory is active, but when I move, the character will move. So it checks the things in a chain. Does this player have the keys? No. Then does the inventories and the every menus that he controlling, does they have the keys? Like if you have the main menu, if you have whatever, there's always one in control and the rest they just waiting. So this is what I did. And because of the last fixes, actually it was a little bit painful because I made another priority list inside the controllers and add pointers to the GUIs from the GUI system to the controller. Then I made sort. It was a mess and it took me a few hours. And now the last error we have, if we click anything that the system doesn't know about, which is in the control system in here. So this is the control sheet system. It know all the creatures that you can control and all the keys. And this is not complete. It only deals with creatures. It doesn't deal with menus. So if I click something that's not in the profile, it's called, it crash. Like 12th, it crash. So that's why it crashes, because actually I changed this code. I completely destroyed it and started over. And that's it. That's what I done the last week.
You have a bit of progress.
It was painful and it was like 14 hours and I really wish if I can put more hours. I want to do 6 hours a day, but usually whenever I do 6 hours a day, I get too tired and I don't work the next day. So it's almost the same result if I work every day 3 hours, or work 3 times, twice 6 hours and once 3 hours is the same result. Or maybe not. Yeah, I add the control profile for the GUIs in here as a hard code. Later on, I need to program this map simulator to add menus in here, and instead of hard coding it every time. So yeah, any questions? Yeah, no one joined us, unfortunately, or fortunately, actually. Sometimes you understand the issues, like when we argued about the hand slots, weapons, and the ammo. But some people don't understand. They just keep arguing and arguing and arguing and go for smaller issues. Like, dude, this is not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to make a game engine. We don't care about these features. This is just a prototype. This is not a prototype for a game. This is a prototype for the game engine. I'm testing the engine. Can it do it?
I was looking that you already configured the keys over here. So if you want to change the key, you can change it for your map simulator app, no?
Change what?
But the controllers. If a player wants to change the controllers, he can.
Of course. You can change the character, he can change the controller, as the joystick, you mean. He can change the joystick. Yeah.
I mean the keys, the keys from keyboard. For example, my keyboard, it's not QWERTY, it's AZERTY. So that means W it's changed with Z, A is changed with Q.
Of course, that's why I made the system as data driven. I didn't made a menu for it yet. It is one of the things I want to do. But this system is building something called profile, and the profile have the short keys. What the key do and what's the request do and how you click it. So in the GUI.
Yeah, but that's the thing. That create game file, it's by a game creator. It's not owned by the player. So the player just have to adapt to what the game creator creates, no?
Of course. This is in the game file, not for the player. I will add.
Yeah, we have.
Oh, I forgot to add an option in here. Silly me. I will add here a button for an option to change the inside the game, to change his profile, but I need to make a player profile first, which I'm going to work on next week, to save his own configuration.
Okay. That was a question because I saw the keys are programmed in code, so I don't know
yeah,
how it works here to change the controllers.
Yeah, 3 years ago, when I have the first prototype for the game engine, didn't have that. And actually, while we were working with Mr. JJ, we tried to let him draw for us. I didn't have the game file either. And I went through this painful design to make the keys saved as a profile and make the controller system just for that. So the player can change the keys, because actually a lot of indie games come out, you cannot change the keys, even though they are used by engines, and this is shameful. Yeah, the controller class was one class only. Now it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, an interface, 5. It became 5 classes just to achieve this crappy thing. But I'm glad you're catching up. You're seeing stuff and asking about them.
I'm trying my best.
Any more questions? Hopefully you start to see how huge this thing is. We didn't talk about the attack class, the fire class, the skills, skill trees, prototypes. There's a lot of things we can talk about in here. The animation. Oh, I hate this thing. So, seriously, making the animation with layers and stuff and managing the data, it's painful. It's just painful. Like when he walk, he have if he have a weapon, it's a different animation and it have layers and hands and accessories and types and it's just a lot of pain. So it depends on the hands you have and depends on I can make the character have different armors, different sleeves, hats, glasses, and make them all part of the layer system. Depends on what he's wearing. Or even like games like have a system that you can lose your parts, like losing his hand and stuff, and affected animation.
I'm not good at that either.
And just a lot of crap. Oh, actually, this is this is the wrong this is the wrong frame. Oh well. Anyway, any more questions before I end this weekly progress? It was actually a good progress to finish the progress review.
You should add that to progress.
For the next week, yeah. The last week, one of the
Yeah.
progress, we finished the review of the progress. This is the
No,
best
I
way.
don't.
Go ahead.
You
It's
still didn't fix the thing with the lines, the white lines.
that's what you mean.
Wait, the delay. Wait.
Yeah, yeah. I just deleted them. Oh well. Thanks for watching, and I will end the stream now.